When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drewbie Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing those stories to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community. Because let's be honest, this is the greatest job on earth. It doesn't matter where you come from, what background, what personality type, or what gender. You can make an amazing life in sales. And today's guest, no stranger to that journey, I'd like to welcome Sheila Howell to the show. How are you today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I am crushing the day. Thank you for asking. I want to jump right in. I want to hear your crazy sales story.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And, mine is not using Forewarn. So I don't know if everyone knows what Forewarn is, but it's one of the tools that are available to most realtors where we can look up a person before we go to meet them, because many times we're meeting strangers in vacant houses. Well, so this was one of those times. It was a vacant house, complete stranger, and I am pretty diligent about using Forewarn, but something got in the way, didn't do it, went to meet the couple at a coffee shop ahead of time, and I'm like, I probably should have used Forewarn. There was just something that seemed a little off. So we go into this house, and I'm like very aware of my exit strategies, have my keys, have my mace, all that good stuff. They were a very, very nice couple, incredibly nice. Showing seemed normal. They wanted to make an offer. As it was, we couldn't go there, but I go home and I thought, you know what? I'm going to check out Forewarn and see just if my spidey senses were right. Well, they were. Like, I could not believe that I put myself in that situation and did not take the risk that we all take seriously. And let me tell you, after that, no more meeting strangers without running Forewarn. And it's not, it's not an end all be all, but like that was one example where I really should have brought someone with me. But anyway, so just wanted to remind people that, we put ourselves at risk and we really need to be mindful of it and keep ourselves safe.
Sheila, this is a super interesting topic. It is not one that we have really covered in 160 plus episodes. So I appreciate that you're going there. And I want to go down this rabbit hole for a minute because, I'm a 6'2" male. I'm covered in tattoos. Like, I've never really had to be overly concerned, but I can definitely say that I've driven to some places and sat in some homes and apartments and looked around and gone, might be in a bit of a pickle here. And so it's interesting because I recognize it, especially now, as I said in the intro, like more and more women are getting into sales. Mm-hmm. And especially in the real estate, as you said, you're going to meet total strangers in places that most people, there's nobody around. And what were like some of the things that you initially, when you first got into the real estate space and kind of had to go down this path, what were some of the first things that you did to kind of create that awareness and separate and make sure that you had some of those boundaries in place? Because I'd have to imagine that it is scary to step into that new world. And there's probably someone out there listening right now that's new, that's trying to navigate that field.
Yes. So definitely using Forewarn, but again, that doesn't cover everything. So I've had my husband go with me and sit in the car before. I had one client who was really pushy about me going into the basement, and I said no. Well, he got online and gave me a bad review after that, but that's okay. I was not going to the basement with that guy. Same thing for, going upstairs in vacant houses. You just really have to be aware of your surroundings. Whether it be mace, I know some people carry that's not for me.
Sure.
I would be so nervous if I did that. So that would not be for me. But, and I have even if I have like a friend of mine, another female agent go with me, having two people, there's something there that says, okay, I've got someone looking out for my back and vice versa. And, most of us, like if I had another agent call and say, hey, I'm meeting a stranger and I'm not real comfortable, I would say, of course I'll go with you. And, it's not about asking for a fee or part of their commission or anything. You just do it because, we're all in this game together. And, we have to keep each other safe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that is the benefit of being in a community where people do look out for each other. That's one of the other things I love about sales is there's definitely a camaraderie there. And something that I get from you right off the bat is that you're very much just who you are, right? I get the feeling that you're just a very down-home, authentic individual. You care about your people, your community. And so there's something to be said about that from a sales and branding perspective, because one of the things I know in real estate, especially, let's be honest, there are probably 10,000 other agents in your market of Central Ohio alone, something like that.
Exactly. There's a ton of us, and we say, you go in any room and you're going to meet another person in real estate very quickly. So, yeah, and I think that knowing who your client avatar is really important because you can't be all things to all people. So and you're right. I grew up in the country, and there are some areas in Central Ohio that I was like, I could hold my own, but I don't necessarily want to work with them. And I'm going to say things like, I'm gonna, That's just the way I talk. It's who I am, and I'm okay with that. So, I found my niche. I work with people that I like to work with. Like I could work with investors, or commercial real estate. I don't need a separate license in Central Ohio to do that, but that's not my sweet spot. And that isn't, what jazzes me up and gets me excited about doing my job.
I want to keep pulling that thread a minute because especially in real estate, not to keep picking on you guys, but it's really easy because there's a lot of you and a lot of you are really terrible at it. No offense, maybe just a little bit. But you don't have to be all things for everyone. And what I've always found interesting in real estate for the younger agents, especially, is they're like, yeah, I'm looking for anybody that wants to buy or sell.
Buy or sell.
No, you're not. Yeah. I'm like, no, you're not. I'm like, because if I showed up and I'm like, hey, I got 25 clients that are ripping and roaring and ready to go, and you get all excited, and then I tell you that they're all trying to sell trailers for like $5,000 to $8,000, you're going to look at me and be like, why would you bring me this trash?
Right.
And I'm like, one man's trash is another man's treasure, though, because somebody that's in the know might be like, wait, is this like a mobile home park and I can buy this whole thing out? Like,
right.
Talk a little bit about putting yourself in a lane where you're comfortable, especially for the newer real estate agents, because that's not an easy thing for them to do.
No, you're right. So when I moved out of corporate marketing, I really struggled because I had imposter syndrome. Like I was like, okay, my sphere only knows me as a corporate marketer. And I wasn't comfortable marketing myself. Which is a real estate agent, that's kind of sort of what you are, right? You're kind of marketing yourself. But I had to spin that, and I know I'm going down a different path, and I promise I'll circle back. But
it's okay, go for it. It's going to be relevant, you guys. I already know.
But I had to convince myself that I was not marketing myself. I was helping them. And I was marketing the real estate. So, if I have a listing, it's not that I'm selling myself. I'm selling this piece of property. And I'm helping that seller get the very most out of that property. And so that helped me kind of get over the imposter syndrome. I also joined a mentorship program that helped me. In that mentorship program also helped me kind of fine tune my client avatar. So it wasn't going out to just everyone. But as you start to talk to people, you also find out kind of where you feel comfortable. And so, for example, I've been working a lot with veterans, and we just work really, really well together. I think well, the ones that I'm working with, they've all relocated. Their family's not close. And I'm a little older, so I kind of fit into the mother figure for them, I think, in a way. And so I'm guiding them. I'm talking to them about parks and schools and all these things and showing them quirky little things about the area that they're not going to know, but because I've lived in the area for so long, I know. So I think from that perspective, it's finding those people that work that you kind of mesh with. And you mentioned it earlier, I am who I am. I'm not there to impress anyone. And if someone has a multi-million-dollar property, I might not be the person because I'm not going to show up in stilettos and, a Gucci purse. That's just not me. But I can tell you, I would market the heck out of that property. But, so there's that. And then I think the other thing is for me, it's working with people that might need a little more time. And again, that's not for every agent. But for me, it's like, I don't mind taking that time and being really nurturing and helping them along the way, whether it's buying or selling. It's more about who they are and what their needs are. And I feel like I fit that niche really well. Whereas other agents, that's not for them. It would drive them crazy if they had to sit and go over the same part of the contract multiple times. And that's okay.
I love that you said that. And it's something that I really, when I'm working with agents and coaching people along the way, success is a perspective. My version, very different than yours, Sheila. If we were to go back in time and talk to our parents on the day that we were born, interview style, and be like, hey, when Sheila's all grown up, what is she going to be doing that she's going to be super successful? It would be so wildly different of a story than where we are now. Like, could you imagine? It would be pretty cool, though. Maybe someday.
Right.
But the point really comes back to, if you found a lane for yourself, Sheila, that makes you confident, makes you comfortable, and not comfortable in a way that it's like, oh, well, you're not working hard enough. It's like, no, this is where I know I can truly be of service to my clients. And what I would imagine, and tell me if I'm way off base, is that it's made your life a little more fun and it's made the job a little easier to do on the day-to-day, even when you're having those days. Because let's be honest, real estate the last couple of years, it's been a little bit of a wild ride.
It has been.
And so what are the things that you do to remind yourself on those tough days to just stick to it and to keep moving forward?
Well, so when I worked for Victoria's Secret, we used to say it's just bras and panties. So when, it's not brain surgery, it's just bras and panties. But when you're talking about someone's house, it's hard to have that kind of flippant attitude, right? Because it's their house, it's their biggest investment. And so it's kind of coming back and level setting to that, where it's like, okay, you know what? They're stressed out because this is a huge decision. It's, most likely their biggest asset. So keeping that perspective, because, and that's assuming that it's something that's going on with your client. If it's going on with another agent, well, we all know some agents are just, we won't say.
Some of you guys suck. I'm just going to say it for her. You guys suck. The rest of you are cool, but some of you. Anyway,
and sometimes it's educating an uneducated agent on the other side, and you have to learn how to do that to where you don't alienate them and make them feel like they're, that they suck.
I can say it. She can't. It's okay. I don't have a license to worry about there.
Right. Exactly. So that's kind of my approach to the day to day. And I will say that there are times when, I'm trying to enjoy a grandkid's birthday party and I have a deal falling apart. And there are times when I have to choose, my family and just say, okay, you know what? This deal's not going to break in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to sit here, sing happy birthday off key, watch them blow out the candles, and then get right back on it.
I love that. And that brings up a great point that I have definitely seen a lot of realtors fall into the trap of, is constantly being available for their clients. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm a big proponent, speed to lead. You got to, be responsive and communicate all day long. I'm going to preach those things. And also, like yourself, learning to create those boundaries so that you can separate your personal life and your professional life can be very, very difficult, especially as a real estate agent, because you are at the beck and call of your clients most of the time. So what were some of the non-negotiables that you put in place for yourself? And are there any specific scenarios that you can tie back a story to that are like, hey, this is why I had to put this in place?
Well, so a big part of it, like if I truly, truly felt like that deal was going to fall apart in 30 minutes, I would deal with it, right? But it's sometimes taking that deep breath, taking a step back and evaluating the situation and say, okay, what is really happening here? And do I have to be on it like right now? Sometimes yes. But if not, it's okay to take that time to be with your family. But one non-negotiable, being in Central Ohio, is we get snow, and we get a lot of snow sometimes. Well, I had a client who wanted to go see, I don't know, umpteen houses. And it snowed. It was the biggest snow that we had that year. It wasn't bigger than what we had this last year because this year was crazy. But it was dangerous. And we had no business being on the roads, quite honestly. And we went clear down to southern Ohio and got nothing. She ended up buying a very small parcel of land, which, that's fine. But go forward. I said, I am not driving in that kind of snow. We will reschedule. And if you don't understand, well, that's find another agent, because I'm not going to drive in 4 or 5 inches of snow. It just is silliness.
I mean, that's a pretty good reason to put that boundary in place. I live up in Toledo, Ohio, so like I understand that sometimes it's cool, and for the most part, even if it's just a couple inches, we can handle it. But some days I'm just like, like every single dum-dum out there is driving into the ditch right now. I'm not doing it. No way, no how. But there's an agent out there that would have, and early you definitely did, and that's why it's so important to have these experiences, right? We're all going to make the mistakes along the way. It's also why this show exists, to help you maybe avoid some of those mistakes and pitfalls, but you're still going to have to make some.
Yep.
But it is putting those boundaries in place for yourself and really sticking to them. And like you said, it's learning to create a prioritization ladder for yourself of, okay, well, these are like tier 1. This would be a tier 2. This is listen, ain't nothing going to burn down in the next 24 hours. I will get to that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And learning to, as you said, be okay with that. And knowing how many of you guys are all following the biggest and the baddest influence on social media, and they're all just running, grind, sell. I appreciate your reminder, Sheila, to just be you and to really just lean in on that, because there is a strategy to the branding and the marketing aspect as an agent that plays into all of the things that you've said today. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask for you, like, what are the top couple of strategies you're using in your real estate business to find new clients and to continue bringing in the right type of clients?
Yeah. So for me, Sphere is a little weird because my Sphere, like I said, it's difficult for me to sell them that I'm the agent, right?
I'm going to pause you for 1 second. I don't mean to do this and interrupt you, but this is the one thing I'm going to say to all of you who are listening. Your strangers are more likely to become your client than your friends and your family. You're always going to have a few diehards, but don't just rely on your friends and family to build your business. Get comfortable talking to strangers. I'm sorry, Sheila. Go ahead. I just had to get that out.
100%. Yes, I totally agree with that. And so for me, a big part of it is referrals. So, like I said, my veterans are very loyal to me. And so, I'm lucky that there is a group of new veterans that seem to be coming into the area for a project. So, that's wonderful. I also do a fair amount of geo farming. So, getting out there, doing the mailers, doing, and then following up CMAs. And then the other thing, like you said, I talk to people. It's part of my personality.
I could see that. I can see you're very friendly.
So, whether it be at the coffee shop, wherever, and I'm not embarrassed to wear the I'm a realtor shirt or my brokerage shirt, you name it. It's like I'll go out plastered up. Yes, exactly.
Every day.
and having those conversations. Now, those are longer. They tend to be, they're not always the one, but sometimes they know of someone. And so it's making relationships. And then the other thing is we have Bold Trail in our agency, and we can very easily do promoted post on Facebook. And so, it's inexpensive. And then it's, the leads are not that great. But again, you work them. And, sometimes they work. It's not easy.
Interesting how the system works when you work the system.
Isn't it? It's almost like someone thought this out.
Well, and Sheila, we could probably sit and nerd out on all of these parts that all of these agents are not doing, and probably some that are, which are, like yourself, having a lot of success. But I do want to be respectful of your time because I know you're very busy. How do we find you, follow you, check out more of your content? I'm sure this is just a small snippet of all the greatness that you share.
Yeah, so definitely, I've got my website, realtorsheilahowell.com, and then, on the socials, it's Sheila Howell, Sheila Howell Realtor, and then Red One, because I need to keep my brokerage on my socials, which not all agents do, but I try to be very diligent about keeping my Red One brokerage attached to my name for anything real estate.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with being proud of the team that you play on.
Yes.
This is one of the things that I've learned is that everyone is their own unique character on the team, but it's okay to celebrate the team because the team is what comes together to help you win. So, Sheila, thank you again for taking the time to be here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great talking with you.
Absolutely. Listen, if you guys and gals enjoyed the show, if you got some value out of it, go share it on social media. Tag me, tag Sheila. I'll make sure all our links are in the show notes so it's easy to find. Maybe you know a realtor who kind of sucks, or maybe they're like going through it right now and they need a little reminder. Send them this episode. You don't have to tell them that they suck. That would be rude. But you could send them this episode and say, hey, I heard it. I was thinking of you. I think you'll get something from it. Go check it out. Because that's what this show is all about. Spreading the message, helping people get dialed in, figure out how to make more sales, because that's what we're here for, and build a life that they're proud of, just like Sheila did. And maybe you've got a pretty awesome life. Maybe you've got a story from sales that's gotten you where you are. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to bring you on the show. Head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your details. Get signed up. While you're there, grab a hat, keychain, sweatshirt, something to support the show. We'll see you guys next time. Go call the damn leads.
When the doubt gets loud, but answer that call. Vision ain't real till you grind at speed, so breathing deep. Then call the damn leads. Call the damn leads.